Hey, it's the same old G. And so this is somehow a video response to Nat20's comment on, I think it's on, yes, it's on Roomslinger's video, recent video. And it's about imagination, and it triggered in me really a good reflection about my development as a gamer during those last soon to be 3 years, so 2.5 years, when I started to play and game. And this is something I just started to realize. I was not sensitive enough to see it and feel it. I would say even a couple 6 months ago. So this is something kind of fresh in my reflection on my gaming. When I started to game, I was really passionate about it, and I was really hard about it, really harsh and brash. I had big ideals about what gaming should be, RPGing should be, what a GM should be, and what a player should be, and what's the attitude we should have around the table, and I was really idealistic about a lot of stuff, and I hit a lot of walls with this attitude. I strongly believed that immersion was coming from somehow of an heuristic and simulationistic approach to gaming, where people should stay in character all the time and have a strong focus around the table and all this kind of stuff. This is this is quite typical. It's not just me. It's a trend. It's a way of doing things, and it's kind of popular in gaming. So it's kind of like not casual. If I wanna go back to the brigade vocabulary, it was not casual at all. And anyway, so I this kind of paradigm took his paroxysm. Like, it became. I wanted to try it really, really hard. So I did this Traveler game with Gottnog, Swamper, Bash, and Shonner, and we played for something like 20 sessions, and it was really good. But at some point during this experience, toward the end, I was like, man, I was getting tired, I was getting stressed out, I was getting it was really draining, emotionally and energy wise, and at the end it became something that was not as good as it was in the beginning, and not as good as it could have been, at least in my perspective. I'm pretty sure it's a perspective that has been shared with these guys. When you try so hard to be serious about it, and you think a lot about all the behaviors, and you're trying to structure the experience, and so we managed to stay in character all the time, and we managed to never mention rules and all of that. So I wanted to try it, and we did it. My experience, my interpretation of this experience, that we achieved it, this idealistic way of gaming. But it's not worth it. This is what I realized afterward. It's not worth it. Like, took so much energy, at least for me. Maybe the player have another experience, but for me as the GM, took so much energy, so much focus, and some frustration came out of that also as well. because the players sometimes want to express something, but they cannot because they have to stay in character and stuff like that. So anyway, fast forwarding a little bit, then I got into Burning Wheel. Burning Wheel is not a game that can be played like that. You cannot play Burning Wheel like that. It's just by design. It's impossible. Too much rules, too much stuff out of character and everything. So I started to play Burning Wheel and I fell in love with it. Like really, really hard. Like so much that it made me change my whole paradigm. And the thing is that Burning Wheel is nothing like that. Burning Wheel is meant to have layers of discussions and being out of character all the time and stuff like that. And then I realized you don't need that to be immersed in a game, and then my whole definition of immersion changed and everything. So what I want to talk about in terms of imagination, because that's the topic of this video, is what about Nat20 says in the comment, it's about letting it go. Like, honestly, when I started to play Burning Wheel, I started to let go, and I started to use my imagination to stay immersed. So imagination is huge in RPG, but sometimes it's about people talk about imagination in like creativity way, in a creative way. Like, I have a lot of imagination because I create this great character. I have a lot of imagination because I create these good stories. I have a lot of imagination because I have good ideas. And I would say beware of this distinction. Imagination is not just creativity. Like, it's two different things. You know, one can feed off each other, it's you know, but imagination as a cognitive tool to change your perspective and immerse yourself into the representation you manage to create as a player from what's going on during the game. That was a long definition. But that's how I want to propose it. I mean, the way you use your imagination, for me, it changed the whole thing. Like, Burning Wheel was so technical as a game. Like, you have to talk about what's going on mechanically. You have to do this. It's part of the game, and it's super fun. And it's designed in a way that I really like it. And then I was like, so in order to stay focused on the story and what's going on, and still have those really strong and vivid images in my head, I had to use my imagination in another way, because it's kind of GM-less. There's, you know, the way we play it, we don't really have a GM. So everybody tells the story together, and then the way I changed the way I started using my imagination during the Burning Wheel sessions I have made me realize that it all comes down to your perspective, you know. And perspectivism is a new word I'm gonna start using, because it's really key to understand this phenomena I want to describe. But it's like, if you start being aware of how your imagination works, you can let go of all these little things you think is necessary for you to have a good game. Me, it was huge. It changed my whole experience as a gamer. Back then, I needed to stay in character. I needed to be focused. I needed to blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. But this stuff takes so much cognitive energy. The control of yourself takes so much cognitive energy that it's to immerse yourself. It takes away the gaming kind of thing. It almost takes away the gaming. So by simply make a better use of your imagination and listen to the good stuff, and let it take form in your head, let it start representing the world that is proposed by the other players and the GM or whatnot, you get to be immersed willingly, instead of being like an epiphenomenon, where you just, by working so hard on being in character and working so hard on being in the supposedly immersed, you know, well, you are, but when it's time to start gaming, it becomes a little harsh, a little hard. At least for me. Now, by letting it go, I started to play again. I started to see what the gaming was about. And it was huge. That was huge because it was completely the opposite of what I thought. And I managed to have it. I think Gottnog, I think it's Gottnog who mentioned immersion as something like that back in the days, where it's not only about being in character. And I know Main Man has a totally different definition. Main Man says that the rule, talking about the rule, or you cannot be immersed in the rule, you know. So we had like layers of definition for immersion. But I think I would agree more with Gottnog that I can be immersed. I can be immersed in the rule. I am immersed by using them, letting the rule, let it go of a restrictive definition of immersion in order to use the rule in a way that's gonna feed my imagination, and understanding the design in a way that by letting it go, I just let it flow. So that is huge. At least for me, it was huge. So yeah, you know, Nat 20. I think y'all get the point. Nat 20 just he kind of mentioned the fact that when he's gaming, he doesn't want to think about Railroad or Sandbox or whatever. He doesn't even think about that. He's just gaming, you know, and without being reductionistic, you know, and just say just game and just have fun. Not like without being reductionistic. There's a way of understanding this in that makes actual sense, and it's not just cheap. It's like, for me right now, it comes down to this. An RPG session, no matter what the game is an event. I see it as an event, and being part of a gaming event. And I go there, I sit, and I'm supposed to have fun and go on an adventure with these people. Doesn't matter how it's gonna happen. What matters now is what I'm gonna do with it. It's my perspective. So by just seeing it that way, now I know how to make good use of my imagination and let the game flow for what it is, and take what I need from it and leave what I don't need out of it, kind of thing. And honestly, I realized that when I stopped vlogging, when I stopped thinking too much about these things and just start gaming. And I know it kind of sounds cheap to say it that way, but it does work. It does work. It's separating theory from praxis. You know, theory from pragmatism. I think it's really important. You know, letting one influence too much the other can ruin your experience. Definitely ruin your experience. But anyway, for all of you who've been doing this for the beginning, like, kudos, you guys, you know, were on the right path. I went down the rabbit hole, now I'm trying to come out. So anyway, thanks Nat20 for bringing up imagination. What do you guys think about the distinction between creativity and imagination? What do you guys think about imagination as a tool to feed up your experience and immerse yourself? I remember actually Andre Martinez, you know, mentioning one day that he doesn't even want to think about immersion because immersion is something personal that different people around the table, so this guy can be immersed, but while this guy is not, and all that. So he was like, it's not. Sorry about that. It was like, it's not worth. There was like a tarantula. He's like it's not worth it to talk about immersion because of the perspectivist aspect of it, you know. And it's so true. So anyway, thank you for watching, and see you guys later.